The thoughts and opinions expressed in this podcast do not reflect that of Lyfeblerd. Enjoy the show. Hi, you're listening to Lyfeblerd, a podcast about manga, manhwa, light novels, and other types of comic books. I'm your host, Cryptte, the Ancient Blood, and I'm here to geek out on all the good stuff. So, if you like what you hear, let's go. In this episode, I'll be covering the seinen light novel, All You Need Is Kill, written by Hiroshi Sakurazaka and illustrated by Yoshitoshi Abe. This is a gem I got as a gift a couple of years back, one I had on my reading list after watching 2014's Edge of Tomorrow. The movie adaptation starring Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt changed quite a bit from the light novel, but still had me pumped, full of adrenaline and craving more all the same. It was my first contact with the IP.
All you need is kill.
So, the world is under invasion from creatures humanity has named mimics. Impervious to conventional weapons, the United Defense Force, that's like the military or whatever, has developed manned mechs called jackets to help fight or to help in the war effort. They're less robots and more technological suits of armor, so we're not talking Gundams here. Our hero, Keiji Kiriya, is a new recruit fresh out of training when he's killed in his very first deployment. The only thing is he doesn't stay dead. In the vein of movies like Groundhog Day, Keiji reawakens roughly around, let's say, 24 hours, 30 hours before the mission and his death. Naturally, he tries to find a logical reason, but Keiji eventually comes to terms with his new reality and must figure out how to escape the loop. The original light novel was published in Super Bunko, an imprint of Shueisha, in 2004. Besides the movie, a manga was also released in 2014 and compiled into 2 tankobons or volumes. The English language translation of the novel was published in 2009 by Viz Media's imprint, Haikasoru.
Plus and minus.
Regarding the strengths of All You Need Is Kill, I'd start with the writing. Sakurazaka-san has a wicked sense of humor and he's able to paint a picture of being in the military, albeit one that's a mishmash of different nationalities. He also explains the ease with which these people are able to communicate with the introduction of English burst. It's a simplified or watered-down version of English language. For me, I hear something like pidgin. Of course, the writing doesn't particularly tell us or show us the differences in how burst is spoken and how different it is from English. It just gives a brief explanation. But in my head, I see or hear something like pidgin. The dialogue is also witty with lots of cursing, like lots and lots of cursing.
Of course, there were only 3 kinds of battle to begin with. Fucked up, seriously fucked up, and fucked up beyond all recognition.
But then again, that's what you'd expect from a mixed bag of military personnel from different backgrounds, social status, especially when all of them are fighting for their lives.
I was out of bullets. So long, Mom. I'm gonna die on a fucking battlefield, on some godforsaken island, with no friends, no family, no girlfriend. In pain, in fear, covered in my own shit because of the fear. And I can't even raise the only weapon I have left to fend off the bastard racing towards me. It was like all the fire in me left with my last round of ammo.
He also likens the soldiers to machines with CPUs and all that stuff. And it works. Like, there are lots of textbooks that would call human bodies machines that are able to do this or that, or fleshy machines or something, I don't know, smart. And Sakurazaka-san tries to do something similar with All You Need Is Kill. Sometimes he talks about the human body almost like he's talking about the jacket itself, with its inner workings kind of mechanical or electrical or both. Of course, our brains are the CPUs, but kind of works. The uniqueness of his time loop angle also reinforces this. It's easy to see the level of thought that went into the story. When I say the angle, it's not your typical... Okay, actually, a lot of time loop stories don't even tell you why it happens, how it happens. They just dump the character in it. But here, there's an explanation. You get to decide for yourself whether it's plausible or not. But yeah, it's really sci-fi, and they tell you like way before the end. My biggest gripe with the story is how short it is. A fast reader could finish in a few hours, maybe 1 or 2. I'm slow, and yet I think it took me like a day. Okay, yeah, well, roughly a day to finish. I know this is not really a problem, or a problem solely from All You Need Is Kill, because most light novels are around the same length, about 180 pages. I just wish there was more. I do like the fact that the story began and ended in one book, but the length just makes it feel like there should be more, like lots more. His description of the jackets was also a bit difficult to imagine. It could be that I was in too much of a hurry getting to the juicy bits and missed the details, but I don't know, maybe my imagination was just wandering a bit, but I felt like he could have described the jackets a lot better. Like, are they more of an endoskeleton, exoskeleton type? I don't know, there's just... he probably left it to our imagination, but I don't know, our imagination needs a bit of a guide. Lastly, I wish Sakurazaka-san had given us more time with some of the other characters, like the loudmouth Yonabaru and the battle-hardened Pharaoh. Yeah, that was his name. From my... I don't know. I think I'm my best characters. Yonabaru isn't my best. Feral is up there, but I wouldn't make him my best either. Okay, you know what? You guys are giving me something really serious to think about. I can't really point a finger at my best. But novel is deadly serious. But even then, there's still a lot of funny moments. And that dialogue, like it just keeps on giving.
Your mother must have been disappointed when the abortion only killed your conscience. Conclusion.
I love All You Need Is Kill. It's a sci-fi seinen light novel filled with blood, guts, and grease, with a sprinkling of witty banter and great characters on top. Dream come true. Reading in preparation for this episode was my second time, and immediately after I finished, I wanted to start all over again. I think if I had more time, I probably would have. My first time through it, I hadn't become a coffee fiend, but now I can't see how I can take a mug without remembering the book. Like, there's so much mention of coffee, and not just people drinking it, but how different blends, where it's made. So, with that much talk about coffee, it just makes me crave coffee even more. Come to think of it, All You Need Is Kill feels like a delicious brew with an aroma that tickles your imagination and a taste that gets you raring to take on any challenge ahead. So maybe it's more of a story about coffee and less about aliens and science fiction. Definitely a must-read for fans of seinen, sci-fi, military drama, and mechs. Just remember, there are no giant robots here. There are no super robots here. They're just mechanical suits worn by very human beings. Also be prepared for lots of gore and foul language.
Reading list.
So here's my recommendation if you love All You Need Is Kill. Pick up the novel Genocidal Organ by Project Ito for some more dark science fiction. It's got some bioterrorism and lots of action scenes, kind of detective type stuff. Or You could kick things up a notch with the manga Gantz by Hiroya Oku. Now that is plenty sci-fi, plenty aliens, even more blood guts. Maybe not as much foul language. You'd probably see a lot of characters that you love die too, so be prepared for that. So Gantz is another really, really good one if you're into this kind of thing. Now, if you're not a fan, not interested in All You Need Is Kill, not interested in dark seinen science fiction, then maybe you should try... by the way, Genocidal Organ is a light novel, while Gantz is a manga. So, in case I didn't mention that before, Gantz also has an anime that you could watch, but you're better off reading manga. Genocidal Organ also has a animated movie that came out, anime movie that came out a couple of years back, not as old as Gantz, and I think it wasn't bad. So yeah, you could watch that instead. So, back to the non-fans. If you're not interested in All You Need Is Kill or the recommendations for fans, then maybe try the light novel Full Metal Panic. It has some light-hearted military mecha action, and it's written by Shoji Gato. There's also a manga, or a couple of mangas, I think more than one light novel series, lots of games, and did I mention anime? Yeah. Also, 2 anime seasons that follow the manga, and then Fumofu, which is like a spin-off that's all comedy. So yeah, Full Metal Panic. You could try that. Another good one is the time travel manga Erased, written and illustrated by Kei Sambe. Erased came out, I'd like to say 2016 or 17. Don't quote me on that. And even though I haven't read the manga, I watched the anime when it came out that year, and it was my best for the year. Granted, I didn't watch everything that was available that year, but Erased was really good. It doesn't have the blood, guts, and gore. Yes, there's blood. It's a detective story that involves some time travel, but it's also a deep drama with a few twists. So maybe it leans more towards the psychological drama. And yeah, I think you should check it out. In fact, whether you like All You Need Is Kill or not, you should check it out. And that's a wrap. Thank you for listening to this episode, and I hope that I've been able to put All You Need Is Kill on your radar. If you liked Picked Up, follow the link in the show notes. I've also linked other books I recommended, and purchasing from them would greatly help out the podcast. Thanks again, and see you in the next loop. Bye.